Good morning, students. Myself Aparna Srivastava. Today we are going to study verbs. Children, what is verb? Action words are known as verb. This you all know that. A verb denotes an action or being or possession. For example, the boy showed his pocket. So here you can see this word showed is a verb. What the boy showed? Showed his pocket. So this is an action. The word showed here showing us the action. So word showed is a verb over here. Rohan hit the ball. So what is verb in this sentence? Hit. And again it is also showing an action. Pooja is a beautiful girl. So this is. Here the verb is. Is here the being form of verb. Ashoka was a great ruler. In this sentence, your verb is was, and again it is a being form of verb. Next, I have a beautiful dress. So what I am having? A beautiful dress. So here the word have showing us the possession. Possession over the dress. Sunil has a pet dog. So what the Sunil has? He has a pet dog. Again this word has showing us the possession over dog. Who is having the possession? Sunil is having the possession over dog. So Sunil has a pet dog. So these words, children, showed, hit, is, was, have, has, these all are action words which tells us that any action take place here. And this is also known as verbs. Your action words are known as verbs. Now the kinds of verbs. Basically there are two kinds of verb, transitive verb and intransitive verb. What is transitive verb? A verb that requires an object to complete its meaning is called transitive verb. Children, in your very first topic, that's the sentence, I have explained you already that in a sentence there is an object, there is a subject and one action word. Okay, this is there in a sentence. So here you see in the example, they won the trophy. So when we are saying the transitive verb always requires an object. So if I write they won, so they won what? This sentence is incomplete. So I need an object to make it complete. So they won the trophy. Now I am getting the full meaning of the sentence that they won what? They won the trophy. So here the word won is a verb and trophy is an object. But won here is a transitive verb which requires an object to complete its meaning. See the second example. Mr. Sharma paid. If I write only Mr. Sharma paid, then you can ask that what he paid. He paid the hotel bill, he paid to the driver, and what he paid. So here paid is a verb which needs an object to complete its meaning. So Mr. Sharma paid the driver. So here paid is an transitive verb. So children, transitive verb is what? A verb which requires an object to complete its meaning. That's a transitive verb. Now next is intransitive verb. Of course it is opposite to the transitive verb. Intransitive verb does not require any object to complete its meaning, but has a complete meaning by itself. It's called an intransitive verb. For example, the audience cheered. Okay, I can understand. You can also understand very well that the audience cheered. If I am writing the audience cheered in the playground, then if I'm writing in the playground, then too it's okay. But if I'm not writing, I'm writing only the audience cheered, then too it is giving us full sense. So it is an intransitive verb. Same here, Rima laughed. Okay, we can understand ki Rima laughed. But if I'm writing Rima laughed at me, if I'm writing, then too okay. If I'm not writing, then too we can understand that Rima laughed. So transitive verbs which requires an object to complete its meaning, and intransitive verbs does not require an object to complete its meaning. Okay. Next kind of verb we are having incomplete verbs. Verbs like be. I have told you be form of verb, which is, are, am, was, were, will be, shall be, etc. These all are be form of verbs. Become, appear, seem and look are incomplete verbs. Why they are incomplete verbs? Because they need complements to complete their meaning. For example, children are intelligent beings. So here you can see are is a verb, but it requires a complement like intelligent beings or good beings. Some complement it needs, then only it can give us a complete sense. Like Rohit is a tall boy. So Rohit is here a verb and tall is a complement. So your be form of verbs always required a complement to complete its meaning. That's why such verbs are known as incomplete verbs. Here you can see more example. The bus is late. Mother was satisfied. So they need a complement to complete its meaning. The teacher looked angry. If I am finishing my sentence on the teacher looked, the teacher looked what? So I need a complement to complete it. So that's why the teacher looked angry or the teacher looked happy, whatever, but it needs a complement to complete its sense. The customer seemed pleased. I hope children, I am clear till here. Up till now we read that there are basically 3 types of verbs: transitive verbs, intransitive verbs and incomplete verbs. Transitive verbs which requires an object to complete its meaning. Intransitive verb which does not require an object to complete its meaning. And incomplete verbs which always requires a complement to complete their meaning. Next now, complements. Now what are complements? Words that tells us something about the subject is subjective complement. For example, the teacher is busy. So here you can see teacher is subject, is verb and busy is complement. So the teacher is busy. Arpita became the doctor. Arpita subject. Subject you know that about which we are talking in a sentence, that's our subject. Arpita became the doctor. So what she became? The doctor. So here doctor is a complement. Words that tells us something about the object is objective complement. So here we are having 2 complements, subjective complement and objective complement. Subjective complement which tells us something about the subject, and objective complement which tells us something about an object. For example, the teacher made Anu class captain. So here teacher is our subject, made is verb, Anu is object. Class captain is a complement. Okay. Then his parents named him Ajay. So parents are subject here. We are talking about the parents. And action done on whom? On Ajay. So him. So this is our object. Ajay is our complement. What is subject? About which we are talking in a sentence, that's a subject. And what is object? On which the action took place, that's an object. Okay. So when we are telling something about an object, then it is objective complement, and when we are telling something about the subject, then it's a subjective complement. Next in the verbs we are having direct and indirect object. Now we are talking about the objects. So direct and indirect object. Subject always remain one only in the sentence, but objects can be direct and can be indirect. Transitive verb can have two types of object. Of course, why intransitive verb not having any type of object? Because intransitive verb does not need any object. Only the transitive verbs need an object. That is why I have written here that transitive verbs can have two types of object, direct object and indirect object. What is direct object? The direct object is the one that receives the action denoted by the verb directly. The direct object answer question what? So what is direct object? Which receives the action directly. That's a direct object. For example, the man wrote the book. Here the man wrote what? He wrote the book. So here wrote what? The book. So the book is our direct object. Okay. The boy threw the ball. So boy threw what? The boy threw the ball. So the ball is our direct object. Now indirect objects. The indirect object identifies to whom or for whom or what the action of the verb is performed. That means for whom the action has been performed. That is indirect object. What action performed? That is direct object, and for whom the action performed, that is indirect object. For example, the teacher gave him a prize. So gave what? A prize, that's a direct object, and gave to whom? Him. That's a indirect object. Please tell us a story. So tell us what? A story. So a story is a direct object, and tell to whom? To us. So us is indirect object. So direct object is what, children? On which the action performed, which receives the action directly, that's a direct object. And what is indirect object? Indirect object identifies that to whom or for whom we are performing the action. That's a indirect object. Okay, next we are having auxiliary and main verbs. Auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verb, there is another name of auxiliary verb, that's your helping verbs. Auxiliary verbs or your helping verbs are used with another verb. Another verb, that's a main verb. That's why we are saying it's a helping verb. When we are saying auxiliary verb, it always used with the main verb to make tenses passive form. There are 14 auxiliary verbs. Be, will, can, may, shall, ought to, must, have, would, could, might, should, used to, do. These all are auxiliary verbs. And in spite of these, any other form of verb are considered as a main verbs. For example, she has left. So left is our main verb here, and has left is our auxiliary verb, which is a helping verb for main verb. He was going to office. So going is our main verb and auxiliary verb is was. Be, have and do are primary auxiliary verbs. They are special because they can be used both as an auxiliary and as a main verb. So which three verbs are very special? Be, have and do. That is, be form of verbs, have and do. These all are the special verbs because these verbs we can use for both for auxiliary as well as the main verbs. Next we are having modals. Children, these all are the parts of verbs only. Okay. These all are not the different topics. These are the kinds of verbs only. Modals. Modals are auxiliary verbs that cannot be used as main verbs. So modals we cannot use as main verbs. That's why we are saying they are auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs means helping verbs. So they never be used as main verbs. All auxiliary verbs with the exception of be, have and do. Just now in the previous slide I have told you that be, have and do, all three are the special form of verbs which we can use as the main verb and as the auxiliary verb also. Are called the modal, auxiliary or the simple modals. Modals are used to express ideas like possibility, ability, permission, obligation, suggestion, etc. That means when we are using these words with the main verbs, they are telling us about the possibility of main verb or ability of main verb or permission for main verb or obligation of main verb or the suggestion for the main verb. So these all are telling us, helping us to understand the main verb properly. Modals have only one form. They are never used alone except in question tags. So when we are changing the form of the verbs, we are not supposed to change the form of modals because just now I have told you they are having only one form. Your main verbs can be changed into the other forms, first form, second form or third form, but modals can only have the first form. There are 11 modal auxiliaries which are will, shall, can, may, must, ought to, would, should, could, might, used to, etc. Okay. So next we are having finite and non-finite verbs. Non-finite verb, the ing form of verb, that's your singing, praising, dancing, playing, swimming, ing form of verbs, and the to form of verbs, that to sing, to praise, to dance, to swim. These two form of verbs are called non-finite verbs, and rest other verbs are finite verbs. Two forms of verbs are also called infinitives. Your ing form of verbs and two form of verbs are called non-finite, but there is one more name for two form of verb which is infinitives. They are also called infinitives. Remember children, if you try changing the tense in the sentences, the non-finite verb will not change. For example, she works hard every day to earn a living. Just now I have told you that what is non-finite verbs? ing form of the verb and to form of the verb are known as non-finite. And here in the above point I have explained you that when we are changing the tenses in the verb in a sentence, we are not supposed to change non-finite verb. Okay, so see the example. She works hard every day to earn a living. This is simple present tense where works is a finite verb and to earn is a non-finite verb. So when I am changing it into the simple past, now you see she worked, works become worked because it is a past tense. She worked hard every day to earn. To earn, I have told you, it's a non-finite verb, so it will not go for any change. It will remain same. To earn a living. Now I am changing it into the future tense. You see, she will work. So your verb become will work hard every day to earn a living. So here you see, children, in all the three sentences, your finite verb is changed as per the tenses, present tense, past tense and future tense. It become works, worked or will work. But the non-finite verb will not change. Here you can see in all the three sentences it will remain same as it is: to earn and to earn. Okay. Now children, strong and weak verbs. Weak verbs form their past tenses by adding ed, d or t to the present. When we are saying weak verbs, then we have to see these things, and when we are changing the present tense into the past tense, it will be formed by just adding the ed, d or t at the end. You can see here, laugh become laughed, receive received, learn learned. So these are the weak verbs. But when we are saying that the verb is strong, then strong verbs form their past tense by changing the inside vowels of their present tense. You can see here, present tense come. When we are changing it into the past, it's become came. So I have changed the vowel here. So when we are changing the vowel of any word, any verb, then it become a strong verb. Know become knew, speak become spoke. Okay. So how you can recognize that the verb is weak verb or strong verb? When we are changing the vowels in the sentence, in the word, then it's a strong verb. Or when we are changing the word simply by adding ed, d or t, then it's a weak verb. Now the formation of verbs. Verb can be formed both from noun and from adjectives by adding the prefixes and suffixes. For example, able become unable, circle encircle, dark darken, thick thicken. Or by changing its spelling. For example, blood bleed, food feed, sail sell, etc. Children, I hope I am clear till here. So your homework, you have to complete your grammar book exercises and you have to learn synonyms and antonyms from your grammar book. That's all for today. Good day, children.